Okay, so we're gonna need page one. What? Which one? 134. I think we're gonna need page 134 for a few questions. Okay. Now, what are his questions? Let's see the pictures before we see the Hebrew names to it. So, what the shiloh we had yesterday was, you look at. Let's get the yesterday's. The nidun is the guy, the black guy, and then to the left, right, the row above him, the shiloh is again the wife of his uncle. He has his mother has a maternal brother, and we paskin that this would be usher as well because of the other surim, because of 5 and 6, because Achi Aviv Me'aim. Now here's the Shaila. Achi Sa'av is usher. The erva on that line, guys. The erva, as we can see by the Sefer Torah, is the wife of a father's paternal brothers, right? This is father's paternal brother. This is an aunt. This is an Issa Deraisa. So therefore, above that, we had the Shnia of Eshes Avi Aviv and Aim Aviv. That was the Shnia above that. What about one level above that? What about Achas Avi of Mina of? What about the sister? This is a great aunt, right? It's your grandfather's brother. It's your father's brother, right? It's Achos, the sister of Avi Aviv Mina of. Avi of, the father of your father, Mina of, the father of your father's grandfather. So this is your great aunt. And so you want to know Eshes Achi Avi Aviv or Achos Avi Aviv. You want to know those two and those 2 and 3. Achos Avi of Mina Aim. Those are the shilos over here. That line, the great aunt line. The great aunt line, what's the story over there? That line. It says, let's see the Gemara now. It says the Gemara. Sholach Reb Mishashia mitusnaya l'Rav Papi. Yomedenu Rabbeinu teach us Eshes Achi Avi Ha'av. Again, this is the wife of your grandfather's brother. The wife of your grandfather's brother. Chaf Aleph. We're 11 lines in the bottom. We're now probably 10 lines in the bottom. Amid base. Chaf Aleph Amid base. The Achis of your aim and the sister of what of your mahu mila the mata erva. When you have achos of lamata is an erva, so lamayla nami is there also gazru bei idilma is polig darsa. You got one dar beyond. In other words, looking at the picture, so achas of and eshes achas, those would be asa, right? But one level up beyond that, so maybe it's one darker removed, or do we say no? It's a shnia to that, right? Just like every erva is a shnia to a deraisa, would it be a shnia to that or not? That's the Gemara Shaila. Tashma, we want to be paisha the Shaila. Mahin shniyos, what are the shniyos? And we gave 6. We didn't consider these 6. So obviously, this the grand aunt, your great aunt line would not be asa. That's what we want to say. Right? Aunt is asa, great aunt not. That's what we want to say. Says the Gemara. No, you have no raya. It could be. When it said the shniyos and we listed the 6 is Tana V'Shaya, we learned some and we left out some. Now there's a rule in Shas that if it's only one thing, you'll include it. So if you leave out something, you better leave out something else. In other words, if it's number 7 and there's 6 things and there's a 7th, you'll include the 7th. If you leave out the 7th, there must be an 8th. So now you're telling me that you left out the great aunt line. What other thing did you leave out that you didn't include it? Good. What other thing did you leave out that you didn't include the great aunt line? Says the Gemara. Shaya shniyos to Reb Chia. We didn't meet them yet. We're going to meet 6 more shniyos of Reb Chia. And since we left those out, we left out the great aunt line. But einachinami, the great aunt line would be asa. Ameimar achsher be'eshes achi avi aviv. Ameimar permitted the great aunt line. He was machsher number 2. And number 3. He was machshir number 2 and number 3. Achos Avi Aviv, right? He was machshir those. And Amalei Rav Hillel Rav Ashi, L'didi Chazili Shniyos Marberei D'Ravna. I saw a list of Shniyos by Marberei D'Ravna. I saw it was by him. Uksivin, and it said Shitzarei Li Surah. There are 16 Shniyos that are rasa. So I saw by Marberei D'Ravna 16 shniyos that were asr. And now I just saw the number 16. Now the question is, where do you get 16 from? Says the Gemara, Timnaya de Masnitan, the 8 of our Mishnah, right? We had guys at 8 in the Mishnah, Amimo, your grandmother, you're going down page 131, you can go through, but all 8. You have all 8 over there, right? There's all 8 listed over there. The Shis de Be Rab Chia, the 6th of Rab Chia, which we didn't see yet, that's a total of 14, 8 and 6. The Hanech Tarti and the great aunt line, which will be a total of Shitsari, that will be 16. 8 of our Mishnah, 6 of Rab Chia, which we didn't, is 14, and the great aunt line, which will be 16. Says the Gemara, according to your reasoning, arriving at this number, Shitsari having, you need 17. Why? Because we have number 1. Guys, we have number 1 you didn't include. No, number 1. Eishes Achia Avnaim. In other words, the ant line. Right. In other words, you're including the great ant line. If you're including them in the list, so include the ant, which is one generation closer. The chart is beautiful. Each one you get away, the svara is the farther you get away, the less shniya there is, right? So therefore, you have number 1 included, and you're not including that in your list. But if you can include the gradient line, include that line, you have a total of because that, in fact, we were Paisha is Asa, guys. That ant line we were Paisha yesterday, number 1 is Asa. So L'chari, your math is off. Says the Ika Eishes Achia Aim Mina Aim, the Pashtina Li Surah. We have, that's number 1, guys. Eishes Achia Amin. Again, that's the wife of the brother of the mother's maternal brother. The wife of the brother's maternal the mother's brother maternal brother. That's the wife of, okay, that's your aunt. So now you got your mother, your mother has a brother. That brother is your aunt. And even though it's a maternal, it's a maternal brother. They don't have the same father. It doesn't make a difference. It's still your uncle. His wife is your aunt. Mm-hmm. That's a shniya. That's a shniya l'arayas. That's asa. Of course, asa ata achais of, which is your full-fledged aunt, right? That's the erva. Your uncles, your there's 2 aunts that are midaraisa. Your father's sister, or a wife, or your uncle's wife, right? Either way. So now those are 2 aunts, and we're going to that. We're going to achasimai. That's also asa, and then we're going to eshasachi. Okay, very good. So now you're off. You have 16, not 17. You should have 17. The Ika Eshes says, my answer is holy kasha. That's not shver, because Hanich Tarti the Damya Lahadodi. These 2, the great ant line guys, the great ant line, number 2 and number 3, that they're similar to each other. Kichad kasha v'lahu. So that would be a total of 16. V'ashit sare, and that would be 16. Now, nowhere he had this list, but no one signed off on this list. Mabri the Ravna did not sign off on this list. So the homikomakam lididi chazin la diksiv lisura. So he said, I saw them leisser. If you saw them written hetera, would you be samech on them? The Mabra of Noi Michasam Layu, he wasn't chasam, he didn't write anything, he didn't sign anything off on this. So Hashnami diksiv lisura lav Mabra of no chasam Layu. He didn't sign mat, and therefore it's mutter like a nema. In other words, you have a mema saying something, you have a list. No, he didn't sign off on that list. A mema said, great aunt is mutter. It's mutter. You saw a list that's with a number on it, right? And no one signed off on it. And from that fact, you want to go ahead and create Isser? I'm not going to do it. So therefore, those 2, so number 1 would be Asr. Number 2 and 3 would be mutter. Number 1 would be Asr, your aunt, the aunt line would be Asr. And 2 and 3, your great aunt line, those 2 would be mutter, would be a shnia, would not be a shnia. What? Again, whatever that number is. Again, no one signed off on that. No one signed off on that. Tani dvei Rav Chia. Shlisha. Now we're going to get Rav Chia's. We're going to get Rav Chia's evidence, guys. We're going to get Rav Chia's. Okay, page 136. Okay, take a look at page 137. He'll give you the list of what we're looking at. 137. What? The short form. You're 137. Okay, guys. So now 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Yeah, okay. Number 9 is Bas Ben Beno. This is your granddaughter. This is your great-granddaughter. Locate number 9. It's on the right side. Guys, it's on the right side on page 136. all the way to the right, what do you have? Kalasai is an erva, but that's not your problem. Bas Benoy is your granddaughter, guys, right? Guys, Bas Benoy is your granddaughter, and Bas Ben Beno is a shnia to that. Number 9 is a shnia to that one. That would be included. Now, Bas Ben Bitoi would be Geyser Ato Bas Ben Beno. Number 10 is Ato 9. You're going horizontal, right? You're going horizontal. So number 9 is also because of the erva to the upper right. Go northeast, guys, right? Northeast of number 9, you see the erva, yes? And now across number 10 is what? Is Bas Ben Bitoi. And this again, this is a great granddaughter. Got it? As you see, it's mamish in front of you. It's Gavaldi. Now, number 11, 12, and number 11 and 12 go to the other side on 137. So now this is from the wife's side of the family, right? This is your wife. And now Bas Chargoi is Asa. Bas Chargoi is Asa. That's the daughter of your stepson. And so is what? Is her granddaughter, your wife's great granddaughter, your wife's great granddaughter. That's the chiddush. Number 11 is the chiddush, and it goes to number 11, Bas Ben Binah, right?
No, I think number 12 is the chiddush because of the love. The question.
No, we're going down below that one, below that Ben, because Bas Chargoi is Bas Ben Bitah. Right. You need to go. Your shtia has to be atavat. A deraisa. So the level above is the deraisa. Bas Chargoi and Bas Chargosoi, the daughter of a son and the daughter of a stepson or step granddaughter, right?
Actually, but Aisha, the mother's mother.
Yeah, we don't care. Yeah. Okay, so number 11, 12 is Bas Ben Binah, Bas of his wife. So this is the same, except it's the same line. It's a great granddaughter, but it's not from him, it's from her. Good? It's from her. Now you have a total of 12. Now, going up, guys. Going up. Number 13 is your Shviga's Asa. The mother of your Shviga is of your father-in-law is Asa. And the father-in-law's grandmother's Asa, right? This is a great grandmother. Right? This is a great grandmother. Number 13 is a great grandmother. And then you have number 14 is a great grandmother, right? And the guys are 13, 14, again, once you see the erva, just go one up. Now, you with me? It's right? You come in firing, baby. Come on. You have right? You have the book. If you don't have the book, you're lost in the sauce. Go sit down next time. Come on. No. If you have what scrolls, there's going to help him. I have what scroll. Okay, now it means he's not. It means he'll wait till the sugi is over. That's what it means. No, it means like you understand it.
Sure.
You know what does that mean? It's the bobblehead. Like, okay, it's the old bobblehead. But you guys understand it because you have the book. Okay, if you also, I tell you, this book is like Lenny said, it's indispensable. He did such a good job of setting it up. You see exactly, it's beautiful. Okay, now. These shnias are shnias. Okay, now notice. Let's do a little bit of math now. The Gemara is going to say that the ones the upper left, 13 and 14, are 4 generations. 4 generations. If you count from the Ishtoi, guys, you count the 4 generations. Ishtoi, 1, father-in-law, mother-in-law, 2, mother of mother-in-law, 3. Mother of the mother and mother-in-law 4. Going down, however, you only have 3, right? You could Ishtoi, then Bas Chargoi, and Bas 3. Conversely, the other way on his side, you also only have 3. Good? 3. So up 4, bottom 3. Let's see what we got. Says the Gemara now. Shlisha Shebino. You have 3 generations from the son, Ushebe Bitai. So 3 generations would be Bas Ben Beno, Bas Ben Bitai, Ushebe Ben Ishtoi, Ushebe Bas Ishtoi. That'll be Bas Ben Beno, Bas Ben Bita. And Revi, the 4th generation you have Shebe Chamav, Ushebe Chamoisai. Shnia. All these are shniyas. Omer Ravina Rabashi. Maishna lemaila, when going up to great grandmother-in-law, right? The kachashav la ishtai, and getting the number 4, you counted what? The woman. Umaishna lemata, the like kachashav la ishtai. And going down, you did not consider the isha. Again, we did the math. Going up to 4 generations, you counted the woman. Going down, you did not count the woman. Okay? Says the Gemara. You didn't the wife. The ishtai is his wife, right? Now by him, guys, the shaila of the 3 going down by the wife should be the same as the 3 going up. It's the shailas by the nidan, right? It's only 3 going down. So going up from the woman was 4. Going down on the men's side, it's very appropriate. 136 is the men, 137 is the women, right? So
she counted her.
Correct.
If you counted her, you did before down also.
Correct.
That's the kasha.
So the kasha is by the men you counted only 3. The other one you counted 4 going up. So Fred the Gemara kasha. Maishna lemaila going up the kachashav leishtai to get to 4. Umaishna lemata the loy kachashav leishtai. And for the Gemara lemaila the isur mikoach ishtai kasa. Why are they asar? Because again, it's the mother-in-law or the father-in-law, and it constantly koyach the kedushin that you made. They're not blood relatives. You were mekadosh an isha. As a result of this isha, it created the isurim. So we consider the woman in counting up. Lemata the isura lavni koyach ishtay kasa, but on his side, what his side has nothing to do with his kedushin. The asat to him because it's his blood. Therefore, like a chashavla, you didn't consider now. Fred the Gemara of ben ishtay bas ishtay the isur mikoyach ishtay kasa like chashavla. 1 second. Going down on the women's side, the 3 on the women's side you didn't count for. The 3 on the women's side, right? That is the guys. Bas ben bina bas bita is also because of the isha, right? So you didn't count it. Therefore, says the Gemara, beautiful teretz for symmetry. I did ton of shleisha doris lamata di day. Since on his side, bas ben binoy bas bitoy, you couldn't learn the woman because it's his blood. V'loy chashva, you didn't consider the woman. Tananami gabel doris lamata di da. Even by her, we counted 3 v'loy chashva. We didn't count this. So again, you have the shniyas of Rabbi, 4 up, 3 down, both wides. Really, on the woman's side, the 4 down should also count. But since for symmetry, you counted 3 on his side, you kept it below him, another 3 on that side.
Does it make any halacha difference? How many generations?
These are shniyas. It does make a difference. Again, in our shilas, the shilah we had earlier, great aunt, it's 1 generation removed. And we approached it like a meme, it's mutta. Going up, number 3, 2 and 3, Avi, we said is mutta. The line of ant is all asa. The line right above nidan, guys, is a very good thing. Look at the nidan. Look at the nidan. Notice the black eye, huh? And he's not slapping anybody. So if you
he was mad at somebody.
What?
But he was mad at somebody.
Oh, Benji points out, but he did rape somebody. Notice that going across, he was mad at somebody. Okay. Hopefully this will never get out. Now. What goes on in share stays in share. Right? Okay, guys, geschmack. So if you go up 1 line, the ant line, it's all asa. The arroyas are ants, and the 1 shaila we had about the maternal brother's wife, we said is asa. We kept that up. Number 1 is asa. That line was asa. The line above, there you go, obvious, they're mutta. Even though there's a line below that, it's 1 step removed from an erva, it's still asa. It's Shimon said yes. Mechavu said yesterday. When you go horizontal, it creates more issa than when you go east to west. Vertical does it. North to south, horizontal. Vertical not. No, that's more. You're getting one more madrega away from the nidan, from the guy that's under discussion. So it really does make a difference. You see it? Yeah. Okay, this is great. It was Kedai the whole sefer just for this page. I'm telling you, this page is fantastic. That's why you can't just throw the towel in. You got to say, you got to do it. No throwing the dafim by Yevamot, guys. You got to do it. Baruch Hashem. Okay, Gavaldi. Says the Gemara. Okay, now it gets a little easier. What? Why doesn't anyone believe me? I'm going to have Ashil Rav Kahana. Shnias de Bei Rav Chia. Yesh lehem hefsek or ein lehem hefsek, right? In other words, we said yesterday, guys, let's just pick one. Imoy, Amimoy, Amy, grandmother, great-grandmother, great-great-grandmother. At Seifa Doiris would be usher, right? In other words, Ein Lehem Hefsek. There's no Hefsek. What about the Shnias of Chia that we're discussing today? Bas Ben Mino, would they stop, the Shnia would stop there, or would go up another generation? So Toshma Adam Rav, Dalid Nashim Yesh Lem Hefsek. There are 4 women that have Hefsek. The Suloi, apparently only those 4 and no others. So we can place the Shaila that the Shnias of Reb Chia, in fact, do have a Hefsek. Says when Dilma Kikam Rav, he was only describing what the 8 in the that was discussing this 4 in the Brisa, but he wasn't discussing what Reb Chia's. Tashma Shlishi Ravi, we said 3 down and 4 up. Mashma Shlishi Ravi in only up to the level of 3, level of 4. Tfei loy, not more than that. So let's be patient the Shaila that there's no hefsek, that there is a hefsek. Maybe no. Maybe from the 3rd generation and from the 4th generation, there would be. So you can't be pushed to the Shaila. So in other words, we won't push the Shaila at all. Omei Rav of Nachman. Chazi marahom merabanon. The Yasim Marav. We saw this Rabbanon came from Eretz Yisrael. But Amu boy Marava. In Eretz Yisrael they made the following gezerah. Gazu shnias begerim or loy gazu shnias begerim. Here's the Shaila. Is the shnias by gerim or not? By gerim is the shnias or not? Why would the question be? Let's go. Let's say you have a ger. He has a mother, right? A ger has a mother. What would the great grandmother be also? So what is
technically can marry his mother?
Technically, you can marry. Now, when he was a guy, could he marry the mother?
No.
So Hesh is on a roll. A goy is asa be'imai. In other words, we know there's Zion mitzvahs b'nei Noach, the 7 Noahide laws. One of them is Gilei Aroyos, and one of the Aroyos for a goy would be the mother. A goy can't live with his mother. So now we have a halacha. A gershin is gayer is kikot shenoy ledami. A ger that goes ahead and this guy converts. Now he's like a biologically new person, so he can marry his mother. However, they made a gezerah that he can't marry the mother, right? They had a gezerah that they can't marry the mother. Why? They'll say he's coming from an issa chamuru to an issa kala. It's more chamer when you're a guy, you us in the mother, and now you're a Jew, you're mutter in the mother. They're going to say you're coming from an issa chamura, being a guy, to a yid. We know it's the exact opposite. So therefore they said you can't marry the mother. But al pi halacha, you could. So Fred says the Gemara, al pi halacha, the erev is mutter. You're going to say the shnir should be asa? Of course not. There's no shnir by ger. Doesn't make sense. There's no shnir by ger.
But the chumrah is still there. The chumrah is still there.
He's permitted to marry her.
The guy's allowed to marry his grandmother.
What?
A guy's allowed to marry. He can't marry his mother, but he could marry his grandmother.
That's what we're saying. Yeah. Saying yeah. Says the Gemara.
It's a guy.
A guy. I don't know about a guy. It doesn't make it. We only care about a ger in the status of a ger. Who cares? Who cares about a guy? A ger.
A ger can marry his grandmother.
What? Yeah. That's what we're saying. There's no shnia. Says the Gemara. So Amalei Hashra Umar Erva Gufa, the Erva themselves, the ger's mother. Eloi Shala Yomru. If not for the fact we'd say, boy Mikadusha Chamura, the fact it's also when she's a guy, he's a guy, the Kadusha Kala to being a Jew. Loi Gazu Barabmanan, Shnias mi boy. So there you go. Rav Nachman, Gerim Hoyel Vasli the name of Milsa. Since you're discussing Gerim, let's tangentially discuss something else. Achin Mina Aim. Now they're maternal brothers. Now by a guy, maternal brothers, the only maternal brothers, paternal brothers, you don't know if they're the same father, right? But by B'yidin we say you go after Roiv Bilis. It's an interesting Roiv. Roiv Bilis is that. How do you know you're the father? Okay, but not you always know the mother. By a guy, it's a real problem, real concern. So you know they're brothers, the maternal brothers. Now question: Lo Ye'idu. They shouldn't testify. The imhe idu edus and edus. But if they testify, it's a good testimony. Why shouldn't they testify, guys? Because people might think, look what happens over here. You'll learn and say brothers are kashal edus. We know kroivim relatives are pasal edus. You'd say over here that the kashal edus. so they shouldn't testify because they're real brothers. But if they testify, the bottom line is Gershon is Kayis, Katan Shanela Dami, they're not brothers, right? We'll apply that halacha. How about this? Achin mina av, if they're paternal brothers, me'idin lechatchila, even lechatchila, they can go ahead and testify. Even the achim they can testify, we're not worried. Guys, why by arroyos are we worried? In other words, by arroyos we'd be worried that if we let him marry his sister, you might come to marry his sister too. If you let the guy marry his sister after they both megaya, you might come to marry his sister too. Yet by testimony, we're not worried in saying, well, if you let two brothers testify, you may come to let two brothers testify. What's the chilik? Says the Gemara, Erva l'chol Messiah. Does everyone get married? Everyone gets married, right? They don't ask shilas, they get married. So they look around, they say, look, they got married, they're brothers, your sister, I can marry my sister also. Eidus lebezdin Messiah. Who accepts Eidus, guys? Bezdin. The Gershon is guy country. No, there's no concern in Bezdin that if you let two brothers that are Megaya go ahead and testify, you may lead to two Jews testifying because Bezdin's in charge. But say it came by Arayos, who's in charge? No one's in charge. Everyone gets married. So there's more concern by Arayos that what if you go ahead and may cause a calamities in Klal Yisrael if you allow the goyim, the gerim, to act upon whatever they want because they're like newborns. But Bezdin, there's not a concern.
Why say that we said before that it would be more chomer al Sagai than al Sayyid? Why do you say for all these cases also?
What's the big chomer here?
Said he could marry his grandmother. Same way that.
So that's goof. What?
But he was a guy, he couldn't marry his grandmother.
What?
So halachic.
Yeah.
But the Velda wouldn't be the exact thing.
He probably could marry his grandmother. Probably is only Yasa B'imai. A guy could marry his grandmother. Yeah. Again, you want to know that? Okay. Jeopardy. What does jeopardy mean? Facts with nothing to do with the Gemara, just facts, right? Here's the guy's arayas, guys. Here's the parsha arayas for a guy. Eishes ish, that's classic arayas. So a man's wife, mother, maternal sister, I forgot. I think it's maternal, animal of a man. That's it. Grandmother. If it's a shniya bayas by them, trust me, it's not it's mutta completely. So therefore, it's not. You wouldn't say that. We should come with the other one. You good? Jack, you good? I did a few.
Yeah.
You're in a good mood. You're happy these days.
Yes, I couldn't go out.
Huh?
Too cold for me.
Yeah, I know. It was really because of this. You wanted to miss this.
Yeah, right.
I know. I know, man. You can't lie to me. We had David the Iranian was here. You could be here.
Try to use that as an excuse.
Exactly. It's not going to wash. David the Iranian was here. You could have been here. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, next Mishnah, piece of cake, guys. Mishi yeshlei ach mikol makom. Anyone who has a brother in any place. The Gemara will explain what does any place mean. Zoikik es eishes achiv liyibum. V'achiv hu l'chol davar. Pirish. If you have a brother who, for some reason, you would think he's not a brother. For example, he's a mamzer. Your wife, a person's wife, if the man dies without children, the mamzer would have to give a chalitza. Even though he's a mamzer. But he would be zoikika. In other words, she wouldn't be able to marry Lashuk without chalitza. She can't marry the mamza al swat lo yova mamza b'kal Hashem, so he can't do yibum. But the zika would be strong that this woman would be asa to marry. Kedushin wouldn't be typhus. If an other man would mekadesh this yevama, kedushin would not be typhus. Why? Because the mamzer is considered a brother, and we have to give a chalitza. Okay. And we'll see the other halachas of chutzmi zoikes l'chol dava. We'll see what l'chol dava means. Let's say you have the same father, but a different mother. Let's say the father, he has a brother from a shivcha min avodas kechavim, because if your father would be with a shivcha, it would be an eved. If your father would be a goyita, it would be a goy. So if it would be a goy, even though you have the same paternal father, he has no yichus. Rashi says that Rashi, we'll see Rashi that the goy has no yichus after the father, and therefore it's not considered a brother le'inyan yibum. So even though you have a biological brother from the same father, since the mother is not Jewish or the mother is an eved, in that case it's not considered a brother vis-a-vis yibum. She would go free. The Yevamot of the dead, the Yevamot would go free because there is no brother to be miyabma. Mishiyesh ben. Now the other direction. Mishiyesh ben mikol makom pata eshes aviv min hayibum. With pata, the eshes aviv, with pata, his father's wife, min hayibum. So in other words, guys, if a man has 3 wives, 2 of them he has no children with, 1 he has a child with, is there any yibum in the other 2 wives? No. As long as he has a child in the world, if he has a child in the world, then what? Then the halacha is there's no yibum. If he has a mamzer in the world, there's no yibum, guys. If he has a mamzer in the world, there's no yibum. You hear this? Mamzer, no yibum. Just like the mamzer zoikik, the Yevamot for chalitza, so too the mamzer, the kleiner mamzer would go ahead, right, and would stop the process. Would stop the process that you wouldn't fall to yibum. And not only that, the chayav makaso, he's chayav if he hits his father, vakalaso, he curses his father, ubenoy l'chaldava. I mean, it's a mitzvah, he has all the halachas of his son. Chutz mi sheyesh le ben min hashivcha min ha'oivim kechavim, because they're not considered by his sons. It says the Gemara mikol makom asuyimai. He said in the Reisha, mi sheyesh ach mikol makom zoikik es eshes achav liyibam. Lasuyimai, Amar Rav Yehuda, lasuye mamzer. It comes to include a mamzer. You had that inside information already. So another mamzer brother, guys, is a mamzer. And he's a brother. That's the key. He's a brother. He's a mamzer. He's not allowed to marry into Kal Hashem, but he's a brother. And since you have a brother and one dies, that brother, mamzer, will have to perform chalitza to permit your wife, your widow, to remarry.
If he can't do you, he can't, he's not a chalitza. Isn't it go like that, something like that?
Sometimes. No, there's people that you can't do chalitza. There's a Mishnah that says that what? That chayve lavin give chalitza in that yibam, right? That we had that Mishnah.
Yeah.
Klal, remember the klal? We had the 3
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so. This is the second. This is the second rule. You don't remember? Sure, you remember. Come on, just did it a few days ago.
So long.
Says the Gemara, Pshita achivhu samadu teim leilaf ach v'ach min Yaakov. I would think. I think they're taking revenge. They, right. I know they have to chap right. Says the Gemara, Leilaf Achva Achma b'nei Yaakov. Again, we learned out, guys. Remember, where do we know the source that a paternal brother is the only one who could do yibum? We learned that Kiyeshu Achim Yachtav, and it says Shnei Bana Achim and Achnu. Right? We are what? 12 brothers. So just like Yaakov's sons were paternal, they didn't have the same mothers, but they had the same father. Who I didn't by yibum. So I would say the same thing over here. I might think learn Achim Yaakov Malahalan Ksherim. Just like Bnei Yaakov, they Zen and Allah, they were all ksherim, v'lei psulim, not psulim, avkan. So too over here, ksherim v'lei psulim. So too over here, I would think a mamzer is can't perform yibum, and therefore the woman can't perform chalitza, and it doesn't fall at all. Kemash malon, that what? He's a brother. Fred Gemara ve'ema hachanami kimelin yibum niftar. Miskak says miskak nami zakik. Says the Gemara. So you might think emachanami kasha, guys. Emachanami question mark. Hivin le'inyan yibam niftar mizika niftar misak nami zakik. Right. So therefore, what? Since Rashi says, since le'inyan yibam niftar es eishes aviv miyavam poita kugain and hoyolei ben mamzer. If he had a son who's a mamzer, v'nasa isha, and he would marry a woman. Umeis v'layadolai v'tur min hayibam v'shvil mamzer. Why? Ben baila yal for the kaman. Ben ein loy ayin alav. In other words, since I would say the child goes ahead and patis. In other words, if there's a child that would get her off the hook, memela, a child mamzer, guys, a child mamzer would free her from yibum. Therefore, a brother mamzer would go ahead and make her zakik for yibum. Let's see in the words. Question mark. Let's say what? Einochinami psulim are out of the ballpark from being miyabim. Says the Gemara, Ki midlinyan yibam miftan niftar. Kinsilin yibam, the child mamzer gets you off the hook. Niskaknami zakik, what? He also puts you that chiyuv to give you chalitza, that you need chalitza as well. V'akavu l'chol davar. What halacha is the mamzer? He's your brother. Other things. The Mishnah said l'chol davar. What other things besides yibam? My hilchasa liyarshay, to inherit him, uletamaloi, and to be metamal. He was a kayin, right? Guys, listen to this. He was a kayin, and he has a brother that was a mamzer, and the kayin can be metama to a brother, can be metama to bury the mamzer. And guys, it's a mam again. A mamzer talmud chacham is bigger than a kayin god lamaretz. A mamzer again. A mamzer loyav, a mamzer kal Hashem, and we're used to using the mamzer in a very derogatory way, and rightfully so. And the famous question is, what did the mamzer do wrong that he is that he right? He's a mamzer, right? So bottom line is, linyan halacha, you see right over here an impact he has. He would go ahead, if he's a son, he would let the father off the hook, the wife off the hook. If he's a brother, he would keep the widow on the hook. And the Inyan kayin, where kayin is so chamer, the Inyan tuma. But one of the relatives the kohen could be mitama to is a brother. If he has a brother mamza, he can be mitama to him as well, despite the fact that he's a psul. So now, says the Gemara, what's the chiddush? Sakdef min hoil ksiv kim l'sheiroi karavei love, and a person the kohen it goes ahead and he can be mitama to the relative that's closest to him. It says who is what the sheiroi, who's the Torah referring to, and it says she'er, that refers to his wife. He should be mitama just tamazoi. Yesh, I would think what? Yesh bal shemitama. Yesh bal she'ena mitama. You have a bal that's mitama and a bal that's not mitama. Okay, tzad. Mitama leishta kashera, vein mitama leishta besula. So guys, if your wife is a puzzle, the kohen is not mitama to a wife that's a puzzle. So you would think he's not mitama to a brother that's a puzzle. So hachem mitama hu delach kasha, vein mitama lach puzzle. Kamash malon that he can be mitama. Fragmar of ema hachanami. Let's say the same svara, just like you can be mitama to a wife that's a puzzle, you can be mitama to a mamza. So hasal lafuke kaima hachachachu. Over there, if a wife's a puzzle, he has to divorce her. If he's married to a mamzeres, guys. If a guy's married to a mamzeres, right? He's not mitama to her. Why? Because he's not allowed to be married to her. So therefore, she's not a sheirei hakarevilov. Mashenkin, a brother, there's no divorcing a brother, right? Blood is blood. Blood is blood. You can't divorce a brother. So despite whatever psul he has, in this case is a mamza, still he's your brother. Therefore, the inyan yibum, he would go ahead and be considered your brother. So who adin inyan tuma, he's considered your brother. Vis-a-vis Allah being mitama. Okay, we said chutz mimishyesh le'ach min hashivcha u'min ha'oivik kechavim. If it's a brother that comes from a shivcha or a goy, that would not be that brother. The woman would not fall yibum to. So he has a brother who's born from an oivik kechavim or from a shivcha. That would not be considered a halachic brother le'inyan yibum. My time amakra. It says by what does it say by a pashas mishpatim that if a man lives with a shivcha, and he goes free, ha'isha v'yiladeha tiyeh ladeneha. The isha and her children should be to the adin. So we see they belong to the adin, to the master. They belong to the master of the slave. So you see that they don't go after him. They don't go after him. And we know that a guy, it's considered her son and not his son. Now now going in the other direction. So we went the other direction on this level. Now let's go down. You have a mamzer's son, kitpata what? Kitpata from Yibam. My timer, it says, no, Mishiyesh ben mikamakim paita, mikamakim asuyimai, the same question. Rabbi Yehuda asuyi mamzer. If he has a son that's a mamzer, then his wife does not fall to Yibam. Obviously, the son is from another marriage. My timer, Zamakra, uben ein loy, ayin alav. It says uben ein loy. In the Lashon ein, we're going to look as like ayin, to look into him, right? With like the Lashon of I, a play on the aleph and the ayin. Look in, see what he has. He has progeny, is that the word? Progeny? Yeah, he has progenies. He has progeny. Even the progeny is a psul. Even the progeny is a psul. Nonetheless, it would let it go free because there's no yibum. Now, v'chayv al makasla, if this son that's a mamzer would hit his father or curse his father, he'd be mechuyev. Says the Gemara, Mai. Why would he mechuyev for hitting or cursing his father? The karile v'nasi b'amchalei sar ba'isem ma'isa amcha. It's a famous pasuk, guys. The pasuk says v'nasi b'amchalei sar, and a nasi, a king among your nation, do not curse. But we have a very famous limud there. But that's only v'nasi ba'amcha. That's only a person who oise ma'isa amcha. Only somebody who goes ahead what and does halachically what's correct. Someone who is oise ma'isa amcha. Obviously, this guy was with a chayve. In order to make a mamzer, he had to be chayve mises bezdin or chayve krisus. And Yiddish would say, "Er is nicht kein tzaddik," right? He's not a tzaddik. He's not oise ma'isa amcha. So, for the Gemara, why would you be chayve for hitting him, or why you be chayve what for cursing him? It says only someone who does ma'isa amcha can't you curse, but someone who doesn't do ma'isa amcha you could. And the Gemara could Pinchas Mishnei der Papa, voice tshuva, he did tshuva. So therefore, in other words, whenever he said that, so Hachanami here also, Kishas a tshuva. This person did tshuva for having been with a chayvi krisis or Mrs. Bestin. Fred Gemara b'haibar tshuva, can he really do tshuva? Tanan, we're going to see. We saw this in Chagiga. Shimon ben Menashe Omer, Eze me'ubis la'yuch l'skoin. What's something that's crooked that can't be made straight? Zeh haba ala erva v'hoylim mimenu mamzer. Someone who lives with an erva. In other words, you can do tshuva for the act, but you always have the reminder of your evil deeds, right? So the chayra, the Gemara's havamina is, since the result is there, your tshuva is not a real tshuva. And what's the answer? It is. It says the Gemara, Hashtami oisam ma'asamchahu. The bottom line is, it's oisam ma'asamcha. He has a reminder of his illicit affair, but on the other hand, he's still doing tshuva for it. It's oisam ma'asamcha. Therefore, if a son who's a mamzer is makasai would hit him or kalasai or curse him, he would be wad. He would be chayiv. Okay, the next piece of Gemara is you can take a look. I just put up some psukim on your phones. You can look it up. Or you have a chumash vayikru yudches. Okay, so this is let's see what we got here. We can see this, right? Okay. Pasuk. This is the parsha of Arayos, guys, and the parsha of Arayos some very ambiguous terms. So if you have a Gemara, you also probably has on the side the Gemara. You have the psukim. It says pasuk tes, ervas achaischa, yudches tes. Now, ervas achaischa, the erva of your sister, bas avicha. You have what? The same father. Or you have the same mother. In other words, you'd say, half sister. You share a parent, but not a common parent. You should be megala the erva. It's an isser to be with one sister, whether it's you have the same mother, the same father. Now notice, guys, it doesn't say anything here about ishus. It doesn't say anything about ishus. It just says your sister, basavicha basimecha. We don't know how she came into being. Did she come into being as a result of your father being ma'anis, raping a woman, or not? No. So now, pasuk Yud Aleph, ervas bas eishes avicha, the erva of the daughter of the wife of your father, moiledes avicha, that your father fathered, achoischahi, she's your sister, loisegala ervasa. And here, notice it says the lashon of eishes, which is the lashon of kiddushin, that she was your isha. So now, apparently, you have two separate chiyuvim. There's a din of being with your sister, achaischa, and there's a din with being with what? Bas eishes avicha. There's a din with being the daughter of your father's your stepmother, right? But eishes avicha, your stepmother. It's eishes avicha. So now, if a man is with a sister who was eishes avicha, right? How many is he over? Is he over on sister or both? Are you only on sister or on both? So let's see. That's what's under discussion. Those two psukim are the key to this sugya, okay? And we're going to bring this in, and we're going to bring again. Let's introduce this and let's see what we have. Okay, let's see what we have. And the Gemara is going to segue into something to do with Yevamis. Now, by the way, in Yevamis, you do have all the sugyas of Aroyas we'll get into. We're going to do by Yikri Yudches, really, each one by one. We're going to go through each one. Not today, but again, this is, so it's important because without these Tarisha Baal Peh, without the Gemara, the Psukim are so cryptic, they seem redundant and just not understandable. Anyway, we have Tan Rabbanan. Haba Chaisai, someone has relations with his sister. The he bas Eishes Aviv, right? And she happens to also be the daughter of Eishes Aviv. Okay? Chayiv mishum achaisai, he be chayiv for his sister, umishum bas Eishes Aviv. So you probably have a picture somewhere. Baruch used to be on this. Right? 144. 144. So Yaakov had two wives, and they had two children, Yosef and Dinah. So they share the same father, right? And so they share the same father. So Yosef and Dinah are brother and sister. Dinah happens to also be Bas Eishes Aviv. She's the daughter of your father's wife. Hala is father's wife. Next column, Ubo Yosef al Dinah. So what does the pasuk say? Vayikru Yitches pasuk tes. Erves achaischa bas avicha, whether in sin, guys, look at this is 3 aleph. Even whether the father was ma'anis, 2 separate ones, or number 3 bays, or he married both of them, either way, you will be chayev for erves achaischa bas avicha. Good. So that's pasuk tes, and then you have the next pasuk. Erves bas Eishes Avicha Meledes Avicha. Okay, that would be Bein Be'imoy, Bein B'Sheina Imoy. It's mashma. You had the same mother. You didn't have the same mother. Achaischahi. Okay, we'll see that soon. Okay, we'll see that soon. Okay, so now let's go. So says the Tanakama, you will be chayev for 2 things. You'll be chayev for 2 isurim, 2 lavim. So guys, if you did it b'shogeg, I'll give you an halacha, guys. If you did it b'shogeg, you'd have to bring 2 carbon chatas. You have to bring 2 carbon chatas. There are 2 separate chayvei kares. Now, Rabbi Yosef Yehuda Oime ein chayev elim shem achaysay bilvad. You're only chayev for achaysay. You would only be chayev for your sister. You won't be chayev for bas eishes avicha. V'loy mifnei bas eishes aviv. My tamayu the rabbanon say chayev for both. Armi michti. Kesiv it says one pasuk ervas achayscha bas avicha oy bas imecha. Pasuk test, guys, right? Ervas bas eishes avicha meledes avicha. Achayschahi. Lomali. Why do you have to say achayschahi? Shma mino l'chayim mishum achayschahi mishum bas eishes aviv. In other words, guys, in pasuk tes, what's the purpose of pasuk tes? Ervas achayschahi bas avicha bas imecha meledes bas meledes chutz. Excuse me, pasuk get aleph, guys. Ervas bas eishes avicha meledes avicha achayschahi. Why say achayschahi? Your main point of pasuk Yud Aleph was to say that you can't live with the daughter of your stepmother. That's the purpose. Then it throws in, by the way, she's your sister. Why are you throwing away she's your sister? Why are you throwing that in? To tell me if I'm over on that Aveira, I'm chayiv achoysk as well. Not only for the daughter of Eishes Avicha, but also for what? Again, you have a common father. Guys, you have a common father. If you don't have a common father, we're not talking about it. I mean, this girl is your father is this girl's father, but she happens to be not your mother. Bashes Levicha, and it says achayschahi. Since that achayschahi is to be mechayiv me according to the Chachamim, to chayiv me for two averis, daughter of stepmother and sister. That's why it says achayschahi and pasuk Yud Aleph. Achayschahi lamali shmami no lechayiv mishum achayschahi mishum baseish zaveh. Rabbi Yosef Yehuda Amar Kra. The pasuk says achayschahi. Why is it saying achayschahi? Achayschahi yatem mechayvay. You're only chayiv for achayschahi. V'yatem mechayvim mishum baseish zaveh. Despite the fact that it says baseish zaveh, you know why it's stressing achayschahi? To stress achayschahi. Why is it saying achayschahi? It's stressing achayschahi to tell me what? You're only chayiv for sister. The fact that it says achayschahi right there, achayschahi, guys, the stress, not this, but this. You're chayiv for achayscha, she is your sister. Or else you didn't have to say she's your sister if you're chayiv. Okay? For Rabbanan, haya choschim ay avdelay. The Chachamim says you chayiv twice. What did they do with that choschim? What limud did they use for it? Notice, apparently, Rabbi Yossi is correct. Why is it? Why in that pasuk are you throwing a choschim here? If not to tell me you only chayiv for as choschim. If the Chacham say you chayiv for both, why are you saying that? My avdelay mi boyalahu lechayiv al choschim bas aviv bas imay. Listen to this. Leimar shemas here min adin. Okay, this is a very, very fascinating svara. Fascinating svara. You're chayiv karis for being with your maternal sister or paternal sister. You're chayiv karis for being with your maternal sister or your paternal sister. What happens if you're with your paternal and maternal? You have both common parents. Will you be mechayiv or not? No. It's obviously it's a kal v'chomer. If I'm chayiv karis for a half sister, I'm chayiv karis for a full sister, right? Would it therefore be necessary for the Torah to write that you're chayiv for a full sister? No, but it does. To teach me ein mashirim min adin. There's a halacha, guys. You can't learn out a punishment and you can't learn out a warning from a kal v'chomer. You need the Torah to state it openly. You can't from a limud. So even though a limud would tell me a full sister, you're chayiv. If I'm chayiv for 2 hairs, of course I'm chayiv for a full sister. Nonetheless, so that's what the Chacham learned from the word achoiskahi. It's stressing she's your sister, that you should know why. You can't learn out a warning from a kal v'chomer. Rabbi Yosef Yehuda imkain lichtei v'rachman. If the only thing was trying to teach me this, it should say achoiska. Just this is your sister. He lamali. Why does it say he? Why is it stressing this? Why just say achoiska, your sister? Right. I know you chayiv for both. He lamali mishum achoiska at mechayvoy v'at mechayvoy mishum bas eshes aviv. You're chayiv for what? For you're chayiv for what? For achoiska, but you're not chayiv for the fact that it's your stepmother's daughter. For Rabbanan, afagad dechsiv achoiska, it's the mitzvah he. What do they do with the he? Shleitama, you shouldn't say ba'alma mashirim min adin, all over mashirim min adin. So you say no, you can't. And so then, why would you have to tell this to me? So something you could have learned out of a kal v'chomer, the Torah goes back and troubles itself to write. He, you say the Torah writes he, no, dafka emas hirim min adin from it. Rabbi Yosef Yehuda imkain awat that to teach achoischa mi'avicha and imecha menusasoi. Okay, let's stop over here, guys. It gets involved and it's getting late. Okay, we'll pick it up here tomorrow.